Now, before we get started, I want you to notice what I've done with the map. I've got it laid out on a table. This is a house table. There are metal parts in it, so you have to be really careful that the metal parts don't affect your needle. See this with my hunting knife? This is what I mean by metal and a magnet. See that? You should be able to see that knife can do anything it wants to with that magnet. So you definitely don't want, now see, you get about, maybe out to the outer edges. You actually got to get about 2 feet away from that map before that knife. See my knife? I'm way over here on the edge. And look at that needle. That needle still wiggles. Nowhere near as much as when you get it around it. Now when you get a map, the first thing you need to do is you need to look down here at the bottom of the map. This is the scales, okay? This will tell you these little boxes here. This scales tells you what information you need to know about that box. Why is that box important? Because on this map, each one of these boxes is a kilometer. So you can count from Richardson Lake here. We'll go here to the half. There's about a half a box. So that's half a kilometer. If I want to go over here to Black Brook Cove, you can count the boxes. 1 box, 2 boxes and a half. So that's about 2.5 kilometers from Richardson Lake to Black Coves. You can figure out how much you're going to be going, all right? But what you want to take a map, now let's do the map. On every one of these maps, the top is always north. The bottom is always south. The right-hand side is always east. And the left-hand side is always west. Always, always, always. So the first thing you want to do is take out your compass. Lay your map on a surface that's not going to affect your needle. And you want to zero this compass. This is what's called a set and forget compass. I think they're perfect for people that are new to this. I don't think that they're complicated at all. I have been using a compass like this for 30 plus years. So you want to zero your compass. See this little arrow? Take your compass. Don't worry about the needle inside. The compass is covered with degrees. You don't worry about that. Don't worry about this needle at all at this point. What you want to do is take your compass, bring the 0 up, put it directly on the arrow. That means north. You can see, I don't know if you can see it or not, but there's an N there for north in the arrow. So that's called zeroing your compass. Now at that point, you want to take your compass now, and these lines that are in here, these are what's called magnetic north. Take your compass, line it up on that line exactly. Actually, I'm going to move the map so that you can see. See how that compass now is not on? Let me pull this out. See how that compass now? Now this map, I got my compass laid on the map so that it's pointing due north according to the map. But now all that you need to do is orientate the map so that the map lines up. You want to it's called putting it in the barn. If you can see in the bottom of this compass, I'll show it up close here in a few minutes. If you look in there in red, you'll see the red barn. What you want to do when you're orientating your map is this needle over here. You want to park that needle in the barn or the garage, whatever you want to call it. Or maybe we want to call it Bushcraft shelter. At this point, you want to orientate that map. So the compass is setting on the line. You turn the map with the compass on it. See that? Now it's in the barn. Now the map is what's called orientated to the compass. Now the map is due north. So everything is lined up now so that you can come on here, say you want to, now, Now we know we want to go, and at this point, it's always good to have a piece of paper with you and an ink pen or a pencil. Preferably probably a pencil, something you can sharpen. But have something with you, because even though this is what's called a set and forget compass, sometimes your brain will start playing tricks on you, and you think, "My goodness, I think I've messed up." So at this point, instead of feeling like you've messed up, you're going to want to write down some numbers. And like I said, I'm keeping this simple today. We're not going to go into anything too much, because I want to keep this video as short as I can, and we will move on. Now, a lot of times you would have I won't say a lot because I never do. You want some kind of a straight edge. You see this point right here? I want to hike to that point right here. I'm setting over here on Richardson Lake. I'm right here at this campsite. All right, I pulled my canoe up. I pulled my canoe up to the landing, and now I'm going to get out. I'm going to hike over. I'm going to hike up to the top of Observatory Mountain, and when I get to the top, I'll be able to see everywhere where I want to see. And then from Observatory Mountain, I'm going to hike down over, and I'm going to spend 3 days on the tip of Black Brook Cove. So what you want to do now is you want a straight edge, some kind of a straight edge from here to there. Then you take your compass, set your compass over here, right up against your straight edge. So, I set my edge on my campsite where I am, and I set the other edge on the top of Observatory Mountain. See, pretty simple so far. Piece of paper and an ink pen. Now we're going to take this compass now, and we're gonna pull this up against this straight edge. See that? Now this end of the compass is setting on where my canoe is. This end is setting on the top of Observatory Mountain. So now, remember what we said about parking the needle in the barn? Well, look, the needle is still pointing north. The only thing that's changed is my compass now is pointing west. So what we got to do now is you take this dial and you turn this dial, hold the compass down, and you turn this dial until that red part of the needle is back in the bushcraft shelter. And once it's in the bushcraft shelter, you will have a degree over here. And then at this point now, it's, I'll take it up, you can see it. Maybe you can see it, maybe you can't. But anyways, from my canoe to the top of Observatory Mountain has a degree of 260 degrees. Maybe you can see that. I'm not sure. But see that? 260 degrees. So now you can put this up to your neck. Don't touch this. At this point, you got 260 degrees. That's when I would write this down on a piece of paper. 260 degrees. From Richardson Lake to Observatory Mountain. You know that. You're not going to forget it. Now you have it wrote down. So now, like I said, don't touch the barn now. Now, what you want to do now is you want to take this and pull it out straight in front of you, and then you turn with it. And see, now once that's in the... Whoops. Let me get over here. Hard to keep everything in for you guys. So now, you hold this compass out in front of you, roughly about arm's length. Keep it away from knives and axes and guns and everything else. Now you're going to turn with the compass. Your whole body, square off to the compass. I'm going to have to only turn my hands because I'll lose camera view. But take your whole body, square it with your two shoulders so that it's straight out in front of you, and then turn with the compass, your whole body, until that needle is back in the bushcraft shelter. And once it's in the bushcraft shelter, now look, this compass, see the arrows on this compass? They're pointing this way. So now you follow them arrows, keeping that compass at 260 degrees and keeping this in the barn. Now you'll follow that until you end up on the top of Observatory Mountain. Now the best way to do this, and the easiest way, is to hold your compass up at 260 degrees straight ahead of you and look ahead. Find a rock, find a tree that's exactly 260 degrees in front of you. When you reach that point that you can see, take out your compass again, take another 260 degree reading, pick out another big tree or a rock or a stump, walk your way to it, and do the same thing until you get to the top of Observatory Mountain. All right, now we've made it to the top of Observatory Mountain. Now actually, you know, it doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt to draw a line. You can draw a line between your campsite and you can draw a line over to where you want. Here, in this case, I want to hike over to Black Cove. You see that? So now what we need, now we got to have this degree right here. Right now we know that this is 260 degrees. So now what we need is we need this. So again, take it once you have reached the top of Observatory Mountain, now you need a new bearing. Now you need to know how to get from here to here. So again, you put your compass up there on the red line. You can see the compass is pointing the direction that you need. So again, we need to take and turn the dial, putting the red needle in the Bushcraft shelter. There, now we're good to go. Now our reading is 280 degrees. I'm going to write it on the map. And over here, I'm going to write it on a piece of paper. Now we're going to have 280 degrees from Observatory Mountain to Black Brook Cove. Same deal. So you're going to, we got it around our neck. Hold the compass, hold it out straight from your shoulders. Turn your whole body until that needle is back in the Bushcraft shelter. And do the same thing all the way over to Black Cove. Now, here's another thing that really, as far as, like, it's easier to find a big thing. Like this is a big lake over here. This is a narrow point. If you're missing any of your bearing points as you come along, keep in mind this point will be a little bit harder to find than if you were trying to find, say, this point. See, you've got all kinds of water. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4. You have 4 kilometers in here that you can be in error and still make it over to the lake and then hike down the side of the lake to where your point is. But just keep that in mind, like say a road. Say this dotted line right here was a road. When you're out there hunting or you're out there fishing and you've looked at this map ahead of time, you know that there's a road right here. And you know there's a lake right here. So if you get twisted out here, if you come to that road, now you know exactly where you are. If you come to that lake, you know where you are. But if you haven't taken the time to look at a map, you don't know that road exists. So when you come to that road, you have no idea where you are. But if you've taken the time to look at a map ahead of time, now you've got a really good idea on where you're headed. You can do this taking down bearings at home before you ever get out to the actual land or out on the hike, so that you can have these numbers ahead of time. So you can do it at home on your comfortable table. It's just a matter of orientating the map before you take down your compass readings. And then when you get out there, you can set your compass. You can set this for 260 degrees. All right, so that'll take care of this one. And the next time that I take up map and compass, it's going to be on a hike. From how do you use this compass if you're going to just, you're going to park your vehicle here on this road and you're going to hunt this side of the road. How do you use this compass, or snowmobile trail, or four-wheel trail? How do you use this compass in that situation so that you can hunt over in here and then find your way back to the road? That will be the next part of this map and compass course with East Grand Woodsman. I'm not exactly sure why other bushcraft channels don't touch on map and compass. I believe that the reason that they don't, and this is only my opinion, but I believe that the reason that they don't is most of their bushcraft survival skills are taking place in state parks or on trails that have paint on the trees and all that stuff, so that they don't really have to worry about map and compass. But if you want to get off the trail and you want to, and just plain be able to take care of yourself, this is an important skill for the bushcrafter to learn. At the end of this video, I will have some recommendations for you as far as more bushcraft skills that I believe that you might find very interesting. Hit the subscribe button. You'll see a round circle back there. I'm standing next to a black bear. If you'd like to subscribe to the channel, click that black bear. Click one of those them recommendations, and I will see you in the next video.